Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We good? All right.
Yep.
So we are on Lake Effect Radio at Lake College, and just gonna be talking about whatever recent sports news that comes to mind.
As soon as I get my headphones from underneath the chair out.
So, firstly, the
Yeah.
Browns we re-signed Jadeveon Clowney, 1 year contract. Great for our defensive line, especially since we have Chase Winovich too. So we'll have a really solid run-stopping defense, which will be very, very good for us, especially in a really hard-fought AFC.
Yeah. I was what's his name? Besides Clowney, I was hoping to bring back. Was it guy from Atlanta last year that we brought in? What was his name?
Austin Hooper.
No, defensive guy, defensive end. Start with a T. T A. I
Mm,
forgot what his name was. Because he tore it. What was it? He tore his ACL or something last year. At the tail end of the season. It was like Malik. Or was it Malik? Malik's.
ooh,
Darn, now I'm blanking on this.
yeah.
But yeah, I was. But the only problem is that I'm still worried about is the defensive tackle issue.
Yeah,
That still frightens me. Of there isn't much talent there.
that's true. But hopefully, we're just going to, incrementally increase that with the signings from free agency, you know, maybe a trader here and there. Because we just need to build around Miles Garrett and make sure that
Hmm.
he has weapons with him. Because if our secondary is healthy, we're going to do pretty solid. Our linebacking core has gotten much better. But yeah, it's really just if that defensive line's not working, then our defense just doesn't work. Like against the Chargers that 1 week, they put 44 on us or something. And that's because our defensive line outside of Garrett couldn't get enough pressure on Herbert, so that
Hmm.
just let him throw the ball downfield against like an okay but still hurt secondary. Even when we're fully healthy, we have Denzel Ward, who's a surefire, lockdown DB, and then Newsom is also really good, but he's still young, so he's gonna make those little mistakes, and
It's just more developing
right,
and him getting more up to speed with the game necessarily than anything else.
100%, yeah,
And that's the thing. Some of them they that grows on, but who knows?
right,
It grows on after a season. Newsom, who knows? He could come out. I wouldn't say after the first game to make judgment, but let's say by week 6, he could come out and be almost Denzel Ward caliber.
oh yeah, he definitely shown that he
Yeah,
can definitely step up against some of the better receivers, and with again how every team is so good in the AFC, we're going to need that. Maybe in our division, not so much because there's not a lot of crazy receiver talent. I mean, on the Ravens, it's really just Lamar and a few guys. But
mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson's enough in and of himself, and the defense is always going to be really solid. Then the Bengals, they'll be hard to beat because of having, I think, yeah, signing Hayden Hurst. That'll be hard because he's a good tight end. And then Jamar Chase will go back and forth with Denzel Ward.
Then on top of it, they actually did something with their offensive line this
Yeah,
year.
so that's the
That
thing.
was a train wreck and a half
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
I mean it sucks because I wouldn't say easily would have won the Super Bowl, but they could have definitely given the Rams a harder fight than what they did. especially at the end when, because I understand that Samaje Perine is a third down running back, so that's what they
Mm,
want. That's what Zach Taylor wants to do. But with your season on the line, the championship on the line, not having Joe Mixon in for that last play made absolutely no sense to me. Like, you need to have your best players. I don't care if he's a little tired. It's just one more play, one more down. And then you see Piron not, because he's older, he's not diving for that ball. Maybe he catches it, gets a first down, moves the chains. The Bengals get another 4 shots. If that's Mixon, it might be a different story. Maybe he hits the cut better, the down before, or maybe he catches that ball or is faster, gets free because, again, or maybe he blocks. Because on that last play, what's even more tearing for Bengals fans is you watch the game, Jamar Chase is wide open. Like, he completely gets free of Jalen Ramsey, and he's open for a go-ahead walk-off touchdown, but the offensive line couldn't block for more than point 0.5 seconds, and, Burrow got
mm.
sacked.
No, that's true. That's another one I hit on my Chase on my fantasy team
Oh, yeah.
this past year. Yeah, he shredded defenses.
But
And
it's just
that,
the offensive line, even with a solid quarterback in Burrow, just no
well,
protection. You can't do anything.
be honest, I didn't expect him to even play all 16 games last year.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was going to miss at least 3, if not 4, because of, a bruise, hamstring issue, something.
Yeah.
And that,
He stayed healthy. I mean,
I know. Even though God knows he took enough hits.
oh my God, yeah. If they just protected Burrow better, that wouldn't have happened. But then again, if they, in that draft, when they drafted Chase, didn't draft him and drafted like Penei Sewell or someone like that, then they probably wouldn't have won half the games they did because of how excellent Jamar Chase was for them. So, it's hindsight, but at least now they're building their team up to protect Burrow finally. So now it will be really interesting to see what Burrow can do when he has more than a second before he's getting hit by 4 300-pound guys.
Oh, yeah. Or getting chased down from behind.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That. Going back to one point of. So the one Michigan fan here, he's a Bengals fan, too.
Oh.
He commented, was it before or what was it, before beginning of the season? And he said, yeah, Joe might not last the whole season because your offensive line was horrible.
Yeah.
At least I predicted one thing. Yeah, their offensive line was horrible.
Yeah, right.
In that. So, it's not like I seen that coming.
Oh, no. I mean, it's like so many players don't bounce back from those crazy injuries. Like Alex Smith. That was really wholesome and fun to watch him, even compete for that last year of his career. Because that leg injury was gruesome, just absolutely horrible. And just
Well, he almost lost his
yeah,
leg, too.
and just to be able to take the field, still bring his team wins, that was great. That was one of my favorite moments of that season.
Yeah, thankfully he wanted to come back out of play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because, I mean, if he didn't win that comeback player.
I don't know what would win you that.
And yeah. For someone that almost infections gangrene, or was it whatever infection, they thought he had gangrene or something in that leg.
Yeah.
They thought he was going to lose his leg and all that. I mean, he went through the ringer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially also being on the football team or on the Commanders. That's not the best situation to be in offensively or defensively, so he had to move around a lot to make sure that leg was not hit. And I remember watching, it might have been a game against the Eagles where he got rocked and his leg started to bleed. And I was just looking at the TV like, please, just, it's okay. Please be okay. Like,
Yeah. Almost like Trevor Bauer all over again.
yeah.
And had the famous drone incidents. But not to that extreme compared to Alex Smith. But, yeah. two instances within like the past decade, you can say an athlete after some kind of accident or some random thing, that ended up bleeding in the middle of a game.
Yeah. And speaking of injuries, the NFL has been in talks about removing contact football from the Pro Bowl and maybe moving it to something like a flag football game or straight up just a bunch of like skill showcases, like what Russell Wilson does with the passing stuff, but more of that. So how do you feel about that?
Compared to in the '90s, they played a lot harder.
Oh yeah.
Like right before the Browns came back, when they came back, when it was actually in Hawaii and
Oh yeah.
all that other stuff, that they actually cared more. I mean, like right now, they sorta, but not sorta play that hard, so it's sort of like ish a flag
Yeah.
league as itself already a little. So if they fully went out, it's not much of a difference except what, are they not going to wear shoulder pads in that then?
Yeah. And I get um doing that cuz that is
Hmm?
strictly for player safety because you don't want to risk someone getting injured right before the off season, right before they're going
Yeah.
to take a little bit of a break. Um so I understand if they wanted to go to the flag or something, but then again, that would eliminate the entire purpose of like the offensive and defensive linemen. So then are you just gonna, recognize them and just have like a 3-on-3 with your best receivers and DBs? That would be interesting to watch, sure, but you're invalidating like the other
Yeah.
70% of the football team if you do something like that, because
Yeah,
there's no blocking involved then.
you're pretty much getting rid of like what, at least 8, 9 players
Yeah.
necessarily, depending if they run a 3
Right,
4 or 4-3 in that. So yeah, that's the sort of that fine line of,
right. Right.
I sort of see that it's a little bit ish of like, it wouldn't be that it's sort of already if they went that way, but yeah, you're sort of throwing
Right.
some guys that it's not like they go and say, okay, through the year and that of, well, since I'm not going to really, actually do much in a Pro Bowl, well, I'm just going to half it through the year.
Yeah.
They do put work in.
They definitely do. And but then on the other hand, the entertainment factor, like it's the All-Star game. You
Mhm.
want to see your favorite players go head to head
Yeah.
and have fun. And like you've seen that at least like even in the most recent one with the Diggs brothers, Stefan and Trayvon. I mean, they had a blast when if you heard them mic'd up, they were having so much fun going against each other, running routes against each other and whatnot. Um, so, there's that entertainment factor that gets people really excited for football. And even then, ratings wise, you have a lot of people tuning into the Pro Bowl than the following weekend, the Super Bowl or whatever,
Mm.
so from a financial standpoint, it might be better to do that because you look at like the skills challenges are fun for like an Instagram highlight or a YouTube clip, but there's not going to be that much interaction watching, a guy do like a pretty much a practice drill compared to them going head to head in game. Because some of the most infamous NFL clips have come from the Pro Bowl. I think it was
Yeah.
Ty Law who completely smoked some quarterback, like,
Mm-hmm.
and that got the crowd crazy. But then again, player safety, so I don't know.
It's sort of that mix of, yeah, player safety, but then two, it's finding that line of player safety and what your sport is.
Right.
Because let's face it, like the NBA All Star, it's definitely got a little bit more softer.
Oh, 100%. There's no defense. I mean, they make it
Oh,
to where you're not supposed to play defense. I mean, you're supposed to hit, what, 150 points first or something. And yeah, it's fun to watch the guys score, but the All Star game where it used to be you're played for something, like you wanted to prove that you're the
mm,
better player, the better team. Because we know that the NBA players can score. Because most guys are known at, oh, he's a great scorer, he's a great passer, he's
they
a
wouldn't
great.
be in the league if they weren't that
Yeah.
made. Yeah.
But it's like that other part of the game that's lost with something like the NBA All Star game, and that's the defense. Because nobody plays defense. And it's funny, Curry lays down instead of trying to contest one of Giannis's dunks. That's funny. And that's fine. But, before then, you had guys who were really out to prove that, look,
Mm.
I am the better player than you. I don't care what any analyst or, you know, website says. I'm going to prove that among the best of the best, we go head to head, I'm going to beat you. And that was kind of like, that Kobe-esque mentality. And I think that
Mm.
for me was better. And it's interesting because that is something you can't really apply to the NFL Pro Bowl because of the difference in player safety. Because basketball, yeah, there's hard fouls and whatnot, but you're not going down a hill, full speed trying to hit someone. You're trying to
No,
play
yeah.
defense. So in that regard, I think the All-Star game should get back to being a lot more physical and a lot more, you really want to do something, want to prove something.
I mean,
You know?
especially if it's a player that they're not really known for their, let's say, offense.
Yeah.
It was more, you're sort of, taking them and saying, well, guess what? You sort of suck versus all of us.
Right. Like you can play what 3 minutes and then you're out. That's
In
it.
that, in the Pro Bowl in the All Star game, like let Delhi go back a few years in that he wasn't the most greatest offensive star.
No. No.
He was more defense.
Oh yeah, he played really well against Curry in that finals.
Even Varejao,
Yeah.
him here and there he had little stints.
But yeah, he was just a perfect role player,
Yeah,
shot blocker. I mean, yeah. I mean, I just think, just as a whole, sports have gone softer. And I mean, I'm not saying we need to get back to like our barbaric, this guy's bleeding, from 15 different places on his body in sports. But, especially with officiating and things like that, I think we should get back to just some semblance of
competition.
Yeah. Because it just lost, and it's like it almost looks like when you watch these all-star games and stuff, it just they don't care, they don't try. Like you have one guy like Giannis is one of my favorite players now just because of his mentality is always give it 110. Like he does not stop for anything. Like in the 2018 or 2019 all-star game when he won the all-star game MVP, he was doing everything he could to win. Like that was the same one where Curry laid down and he like the expression on his face was like, I don't care if you're jumping or not, I'm going to slam this ball in the rim. So like, I wish more players were like Giannis in that sense. Like they really, really want to come out and show that they're that guy.
Yeah, that's because really the only competitive sort of like out of the big three, and that I would have to say is only baseball
Yeah.
now, and eventually because those getting soft, eventually that's going to happen there too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why sports have taken a turn like that. And it's like, I mean, the only sport that I guess won't be soft is like the UFC or something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, that's, you know,
I'm just trying to think anything that has an all-star game.
yeah.
And does hockey? I'm not a huge hockey person.
No, but yeah, they definitely have an all-star game.
Yeah. In a way, probably them, because they're just brutal, and let's face
Yeah.
it, it's,
Right.
hockey's hockey, and it's never going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, really them, but they're not I mean, they don't have like a huge fan base compared to the NFL, baseball.
Yeah, I
It's up
mean,
there, but they're probably ranked, what, four out of the top three?
yeah, a lot of media coverage only goes to our, three main sports. Just the
Except
three
if
main
you're
men's
over in
sports.
Europe, then you had
Oh, in Europe,
their version of football,
right. It's a
soccer.
whole different thing. I mean, yeah, soccer runs the world. I mean, it's crazy. Well, because, like, you know, as Americans, I guess it's fair to say that we don't watch soccer that much, compared to the other big three, right? But, you go anywhere else around the world and they're like looking at us like, what are you watching? Like, because the
Mm.
NFL is so confined to really just America and it's starting to expand a little bit into Europe. But outside of that, and it's really the like mainly English European, countries. But outside of that, soccer, you could look at like any little clip online. You could not even know who this guy is, and that clip gets like, you know, 75 million views in like one day. And like the most famous football highlights and clips will get maybe like 30 in like 4 years, It's a crazy difference when you're outside of the US.
No, it definitely, it's 100% true. In that, especially because as a mayor, and this is probably what does happen now since they're playing over in England many times and that with the NFL, of they refer to their hot or soccer as football. Then you have that football now occasionally playing. So what did last year? Did they? I don't think they played over there.
They did. It was the Jaguars and uh who was it? Maybe it was the Dolphins or
Maybe
but yeah, they played I think at either like Tottenham Stadium or Wembley.
because I know before the whole COVID thing they had what, at least two or three games a year prior to
Yeah.
that. And then before that it was like two and all that.
Now there's a good amount being played
Oh
over there in Germany now with the Packers, and it'll be fun to watch those games. Because it's also funny because the crowds at those games, because I mean those European crowds are crazy, like they put any American crowd to shame. I mean, their level of intensity is next level. I mean, like all of their chants are so oddly specific, and for whatever reason, everyone knows them.
yeah.
Like you have like because like they all have their big rivalries like Tottenham, Arsenal. Those guys are like we say Tottenham, you say sucks. Tottenham sucks. Like and so, anyone could start that. So it's really fun to see that. But what was funny is I watched that Jaguars game. And they had probably no idea what was going on, but they were all just so drunk watching the game. They cheered for every like 2 yard running play, and it's like it was just fun to see that much energy and engagement when like a normal fan, like a football fan, would be like, guys, he got 2 yards. I mean, it's third down. It's third and 12. Why are we cheering?
No, it's
But
true. But then even if let's say you went down to first energy and that, if you stand on like third down, you get someone behind you and that of, well, you need to sit down. You're blocking my view now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, everyone in other countries, they're standing up. They're jumping over each
Yeah.
other to watch those games. I mean, amount of times they've like a giant fan section's actually like crashed because of the weight of people getting so excited and moving around. It's a whole different sport experience outside of the U.S.
A lot more passion
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
in that, but yeah, we'll never know that one yet.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list eventually to make it over to Europe to
Oh
see
yeah.
something like that.
You got to watch like a big game. You have to watch like a Chelsea versus Man United or something like that, or World Cup game. Those are very much. Those are just wow. because
Mm-hmm.
that like everyone in that country is like screaming at the top of their lungs, no matter where they are, for their team. Like even on like the countryside, because I have family in Italy, in Campobasso, which is like a little
Yeah.
southern, and every like everyone, and let's say it's like 30 people in that giant area, they are so hell bent on somehow like spiritually ensuring Italy wins. It's just such a crazy thing to see.
Yeah. But we were all guilty of that during, let's face it,
Oh
the
yeah. Oh
Cavs.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Many Cleveland fans all over yelling at
Oh
the
yeah.
TV.
That parade was ridiculous. It was awesome.
I didn't go down that day. I sort of watched it. But
Ooh.
to be honest, I always thought after how long it was, if anything was going to, happen, I thought, people are probably going to break into places. Stuff's going to be all messed up. And it was compared to Philadelphia after they won the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be worse than that.
Uh-huh.
It didn't even come close.
Yeah, well.
It was very disappointing. Now,
Yeah.
see, maybe if the Browns won the Super Bowl, you probably would see downtown like on fire, like half of it, or the stadium or something
I mean, yeah.
afterwards.
I mean, a lot of that has to do with overall viewership because that's huge in Cleveland, and that finals parade was like it was still insane. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
comparatively, like the NBA gets maybe a third or half of the views like per game that an NFL game does. So yeah, if the Browns won the Super Bowl, that would turn the entirety of Ohio, say for Cincinnati or Pittsburgh or I mean, like
Yeah.
outside of those places, everything around Ohio would be live.
Yeah. And something would probably get destroyed in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
It's a matter of what. Or I could be saying this and could be completely wrong yet again. We'll find out when that actually happens.
yeah.
In that, if it does happen, who knows?
Right. I mean, and those finals parades, something that came out of that, especially that one Toronto one, Kawhi leaving the Raptors for the Clippers was one of the, at least in my eyes, one of the most interesting moves that I've seen. Because I understand it. Kawhi definitely saw it too. The Raptors were not going to contend because of how, they overall were really bailed out by a lot of injuries. But, fair play to them, they won the ring. But Kawhi definitely knew that, look, they are not going to get that far the next year, even if I play. But one thing that was really interesting is that, like, the entirety of Toronto almost deified Kawhi Leonard. Like, he was going to get, free lodging, free meals everywhere in Toronto. Didn't matter where he went, could be, their 5-star steakhouse. He would get free meals all the time. Like, he was the guy in Toronto year one. And, I mean, if that was me leaving all of that behind to go play in, like, what is the younger brother of the other LA team is kind of interesting to me. But,
Well, if you could even compare that to even LeBron.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He loved hearing that after bringing that to go out, and yeah, the whole LA thing sure didn't really work out.
Yeah, I mean, they still did get a ring, and so fair play, I guess. But then completely refurbishing and demolishing that championship team to create the first round exit, team plagued with injuries this year. Yeah, and because
Huh?
of that, LA's not going to be good. I mean, Russell Westbrook gets paid like $41.5 million. That's the most on his team, on that Lakers team. And that's crazy because he played horribly this year.
Huh?
So the Lakers are pretty much done unless LeBron can somehow get, Curry to leave the Warriors and come to the Lakers, or get like Damian Lillard to stop being loyal. Like unless LeBron can somehow use a crazy amount of leverage, the Lakers are pretty much screwed even up until LeBron retires because they really have no money. Their organization is shown to be really a failure, more or less.
Yeah. And that, but I sort of get it with the whole Kobe thing. That's in a way why he went out there. In a little one, just owing and trying to win multiple championships in between teams.
Yeah.
But yeah. But then even you could go back to the first time when it was kind of funny of when he left, everyone wanting to burn stuff.
Yeah.
His jersey, burning it down, his house, many other things. And that, compared to the last time, that was more mellow.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I guess
Yeah.
it's just, he finally delivered on a promise that we really didn't think was ever going to come to fruition. So at that point, we were like, you broke our heart once, but then you gave us this, right? So, I mean, yeah, it definitely did not sting that second time because LeBron did what he said he was going to do. So, you can't really be too mad at that.
The non-playing probably not having a TV show helped too.
Right.
I always dog him every once in a while on that. 'Cause that was really stupid.
Yeah, well,
But yeah. There's no way to going away and making that disappear.
yeah, no. Just like LeBron's Miami stints.
Well,
Like, I mean, I've said it, but, like, they had the potential to win so many rings together, but it was just that bravado of a young team that stopped them from winning more. And also a legendary run by Dirk Nowitzki, but that's that.
oh yeah. Yeah, that's a name from the past.
Oh,
Derek.
Yeah, big
He was like the
mentor.
common person.
Oh, yeah. He had, like, very little athleticism, but he had the meanest fadeaway you've ever seen. And because he carried that Mavericks team to that championship and beat that crazy star-studded Miami Heat. And I mean, like, if you watch Luka now, I mean, Luka's just ridiculously good, and he definitely has like a top 10 player potential. If not for Giannis and Jokic, he would win. He would have won multiple MVPs. But it's also good that the league is filled with such great younger players. But when you watch Luka, you can see aspects of almost every NBA star's game in him. Like his fadeaway is pretty much a mirror to what Dirk's was, and his step back is very much like Harden's, where he's able to take a lot more space with him, so to free up that shot. He's just a great player. He's one of the most exciting to watch, and he's not. I mean, he's not uber athletic either, which is interesting because it looks like
Mm.
Luka plays so slow, but I mean, he just gets past guys.
No, it's true. Definitely is true. But it's kind of weird that we don't have as many. Every once in a while we get those few now. But compared to going back to the Shaq years,
Yeah.
Dirk, and all
Yeah.
that, you don't see many of those guys.
Yeah, yeah. It's because that old big man position is dead.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there are a few guys who still kind of, make headlines. Like Rudy Gobert, but Gobert, he's losing his step. It looks like a lot of the time he gets easily blown by smaller defenders, and even because centers now are getting a lot more, crafty. Like Joel Embiid, Jokic, those guys are a lot more technical rather than like a bruiser kind of big man, especially since most of them are turning into like stretch 4 and 5s. Like, KD's KD, and he's kind of pioneered that stretch big position, you know. But like even Carl Anthony Towns, he's been working on developing more of a dribble package and a jump shot rather than being strong in the paint. And speaking of that, that's really the largest reason why the Miami Heat are losing in the playoffs. Well, at least relatively. I mean, I think they've
Mm,
won only 2 quarters throughout the entire series, and a lot of that is just because, I mean, yes, they are small, but they're afraid to go inside the paint against a guy like Roy Williams. They don't want to challenge him. Like Bam Adebayo, he looks scared. He plays scared unless that big is out and he has a mismatch with like Kenny Pritchard or even Marcus Smart. When he's a bigger guy, he can go to work like he did and scored, like 11 points in whatever short amount of time. But otherwise,
mm.
he's scared.
I know that's hilarious though.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting because what they're on tonight,
Yeah, 8:30 tonight. Game
and that
5.
in a way I'm sort of hoping Boston sort of pulls it off.
I mean, I'd be fine with either team because I appreciate how again Boston was one of those cultivated teams where Marcus Smart, really stepped up and became a defensive anchor. Jason Tatum became the all-star he is just through working at it. And then of course Jalen Brown getting to that like level sort of too is it's really admirable for that Celtics team. So I'd be completely fine if they went to the finals. I just don't want Golden State to win again because it's just like if they somehow start another stretch of a dynasty, it's like I'll just be so just disappointed.
Oh yeah, it gets old real quick,
Oh yeah.
and that's like Cryberry Curry. I hate that guy,
Yeah.
and no, yeah, whoever in the East out of these two teams, yeah, they have to go over there and take care of business. If they get unless the Magic from
Right.
2016 can come back and they go three and lose three straight.
Right.
That would be hilarious because
Oh, that'd be
Curry would
great.
be probably crying and many
Oh
other
yeah. Oh
things.
yeah. I mean, you can only hope, but then again, the Mavs only won by like 10 last night when they played, and Golden State did not play that great. Oh, I mean, no, I think they actually did. Never mind. I think they played good, but they just no. That was the no. Yeah, Golden State did play fine, but they could have played a lot better, right? And if the Mavs' best margin of victory is 10 points, you figure those guys are getting tired. Golden State has a lot more depth than the Mavericks. I mean, their bench can pretty much contend with most of the Mavericks starters outside of Luca and maybe Brunson when he's hot and Dinwiddie when he's hot. But yeah, the Warriors will probably give them the old gentleman's sweep. Give them one, and still take the series in 5.
Yeah, you never. Cause yeah, that's a huge thing. I could not. If that's a new thing that each and every year they're going to make it in and win a championship, that'll get really old really quick.
Yeah, but then again, like it sucks because that Warriors team, you can't really say anything too bad about them, at least like from a player standpoint. They drafted all of their talent and built them up to be this unstoppable all-time team that exists now, you know? Like Poole and Looney, those guys give valuable minutes and it just yeah, it sucks if they go on another run because it's like, what happened to our Cavs? Why can't we stop them anymore? But I mean, they built everything. So you can't really hate on that. That's just, they somehow figured out how to make it work and they are making it work.
Except like us, we're sort of in that thing of it's either we sort of either drafted slash
Yeah.
traded for young talent that was drafted.
Oh, yeah. That was Brooklyn's biggest mistake, giving up Jared Allen, because ironically enough, that was the key piece in their finals hopes that year, the first year, because they had no interior big to stop Giannis when Giannis had like three straight 40-point games with like 15 rebounds, shooting like 70%. Like, they needed that big man and they didn't have him. And then again, in that same trade, I don't know if they used that to trade for, I don't know who they traded for Brooklyn, but the point was like, yeah, in return, getting Harden and Kyrie from wherever, that ended up not being anything of use. Like they were non-factors. Harden with the hamstring, and yes, Kyrie got hurt, even worse with the ankle. But even then, Harden did nothing throughout their playoffs. Like yes, when you have three All Stars, you're gonna be able to spread the floor and you're gonna be able to get shots. But Harden, he's definitely declining as a player.
Mm.
Because again, even before that hamstring injury, he just lost that touch that he had on the ball. Especially, I think being with the Nets really hampered his isolation abilities because, when you have Kyrie who's ball dominant, then you also have KD who's ball dominant. Harden is more of an afterthought because he's not really better than either of them in anything. He's a
Yeah.
worse defender than both. He's good on offense, but it's Kevin Durant and, Kyrie Irving. So it's like he became that third wheel of the offense, and now it's translating it into even when he's with another talent like Joel Embiid, you would have thought they would be able to do something in the playoffs together. Like Embiid needed that one guy who could spread the floor, but that amounted to nothing there too because Harden couldn't hit his shots. He just lost that touch that he had. It sucks, but happens.
No, it does. That's like you can even say that was what 2 years ago. Like LeBron missing actually hurt during an NBA season. That was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like he sprained something out a game or two, and that him actually that was foreign to almost like everybody.
Oh yeah.
Because when I heard that, it's like, wait, what? What are
Yeah.
you talking about? But yeah, with age, skills and all that, it just diminish.
Yeah. But at the same, I mean, LeBron is LeBron. I mean, he's doing something Jordan couldn't in his later years, and that is
Mm.
win games and be an MVP. I mean, because regardless of LeBron's, declining athleticism, he's grown up a lot from when he entered the league. Because, he was that really high springing, big play kind of guy. And then he slowly developed into becoming a straight up facilitator. And, he knows how to get better, more quality shots off. So, yeah, he lost a lot of those technical, fundamental basketball aspects of his game, but he's gotten a lot better as a floor general, knowing where to put the ball, how to, get his guys open, get a better shot. So, and, LeBron still had a tremendous season regardless of those
Mm.
injuries. Yeah, but I mean, he's someone who, even with injuries, I think he'd bounce back pretty easily, even later
Yeah.
versus someone like Anthony Davis who's injured every other week.
Well, even Hardy too.
Yeah,
Even Kyrie.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause that's one thing that always sort of plagued Kyrie after he left Cleveland. Well, after that whole fiasco and him leaving Cleveland, he never got back to where he was.
Yeah, and yeah, all that was really just his health, because he still, when he was playing before the playoffs were over for the Nets, he still showed that he is an elite ball handler, an elite scorer. He might even be a better scorer now than he was because of his maturity and experience. But yeah, he's not as quick. He's still fast, but he's not as quick. And yeah, you can definitely see that decline in his game. He's still great, but yeah, he's not the same Kyrie because, like you said this before, but he's a guy who will play defense when he wants to. He's really an offensive guard. if he doesn't have to really play hard defense, because he can, but it's just that with age, he's not going to risk, hurting
Yeah.
himself on a defensive play when, he could help his team on offense more. Yeah.
LeBron pushed him more
Oh
on
yeah,
that
definitely.
front.
Because LeBron expected him to really be the number one guy. On Brooklyn, you can give it to KD when Harden was there. You could give it to Harden, see what they can do with the ball, you know. But with LeBron, it was just like, Kyrie, it's you and me. You have to step up. And yeah, I think he does, or at least he started to realize that now, that like, yeah, I should have played with LeBron more. I should have stayed in Cleveland. We could have done more together, but you know,
Yeah. Wish I coulda, woulda.
yeah,
All that fun. And that. Especially because even like that. Sort of that NBA final trip and that. I mean, it was like ridiculous the one time and that his last minute jump shot
oh
of
yeah,
that game and that.
oh yeah,
I mean, stopping on a dime and going over top.
that was pretty.
Oh God,
It
yeah.
was nice.
I don't think he could do that now.
Yeah,
Or it's, a one out of, maybe 10 times that could be a thing.
yeah. I mean, I think yeah, he still has the ability, but it's just yeah, he's just slower. Like, and in that finals, he was getting guarded by Curry, who is not the best defender, but he still had like a really easy shot, at least for him, because I was wide open, getting free. But I think like yeah, now if someone with like that Curry level of defense was on him 1-on-1, he'd probably be able to get the space still. But yeah, I don't know if that shot is still as fluid as it was. But then, a lot of those guys like LeBron build more of that their fundamentals back and lose a lot of that flashy stuff, so they still can maintain that similar level of like all-star play. So who knows, maybe Kyrie will still be good for another like 5 years with the same like explosive point guard, ball handling play, but we'll see though.
I wonder how old he is for kicks and giggles. Because he's got to be up there close to 30.
Yeah, he's probably like 30 or 31 maybe.
I never thought of that till now. Let me see. Oh, 30.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. He might have a few good years playing the same way he does.
Uh, it will be definitely interesting
Oh
to see
yeah.
what happens with him.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, and around the league, everything will be interesting too when all of these guys will start to retire and you know
Mm-hmm.
forge that path for all of the other young guys. It'll be interesting to see what like the older guys do too. Because at that point in their career, a lot of those older guys just want to get a ring. Like that's why DeMarcus Cousins went to that Warriors team, because it was like, okay, easy ring, but then Kawhi stopped that run, and then you have every one of those old guys who, in their primes, were a nonstop highlight reel, like DeAndre Jordan, Andre Drummond, and Blake Griffin, flocking to the Nets, and then just nothing coming out of that. LaMarcus Aldridge wanting some more, and you know, it makes sense, but it's interesting to think about what a lot of those guys will do now. Like especially Damian Lillard, because I mean he's not going to win anything staying with the Trailblazers, but that's his entire mo. He wants to stay loyal to his team, but if he wants to really have a legacy, he's going to have to go win a ring at some point. So I don't know what he'll do. I don't know what a bunch of other guys will do, but
Well, it's sort of that thing. It's you have some that they want the ring, but then you have the ones like the best example would be Joe Thomas,
yeah,
in that didn't show up in New York while being drafted on the middle of a fishing boat in what was it whatever it was, I forgot what lake that was. So yeah, you have that. Let's face it, we did not give him much to work with
Yeah.
here
Oh yeah.
at all. Yeah, he was just here because he wanted to be here. This is where he's a loyal guy.
Yeah. I mean, and you can't fault loyalty at
No.
all. But I guess as a fan, you look at some of these players who could cement their legacy as, you know, X all time, and a guy like Damian Lillard, it's like he's one of those guys you want to go and get a ring. Like
Mm.
Derrick Rose, after everything that's happened in his career, you want Derrick Rose to just get a ring, you know, and but yeah, some of these guys are just loyalty above all
Yeah.
else, and yeah, it's admirable. But from a fan's perspective, sometimes it's like just just go, just get the ring, try to get the ring.
Well, it was nice, like Stafford winning one.
Oh yeah.
Let's face it, Detroit. He didn't have a chance.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
When he got drafted, even the years he was there, he
Yeah.
never had a chance at it.
Oh no. Because I mean, they had pieces here and there,
Yeah.
but especially in the NFL,
They
two
couldn't
players
do-
can't make a team.
Well, not they could never put the consistency like 2 years together.
Oh no. No.
It was either here, or here,
Yeah.
and it bounced in between the three level. It was never.
Yeah.
They could never stay near the same level back to back.
And it's just, I mean, there were so many problems with those Lions teams. Coaching was terrible. Their GMs just didn't make moves for anything. They wasted Calvin Johnson. I mean, like, Megatron is realistically a top 5 overall player ever, despite anything, even retiring a little bit early. But it's like his level of play was so dominant, but the organization just wasted his better years because he could have easily won rings with teams. He could have
Oh,
been
yeah.
the centerpiece of great offenses, like what the Patriots were able to do with Randy Moss. Like, even as he was climbing up in years, they still had Randy Moss look like that same Randy Moss on a better team. And, that's exactly what Stafford did. The gritty player, but, put him on a better team with a good situation where an organization cares about the success of their team above all else. And, luckily the Lions are starting to turn it around with their draft picks, getting a lot of young talent.
We hope.
Yeah, but I mean they've got some good guys. I mean, Jared Goff is a great stopgap quarterback for them. DeAndre Swift is great, and he's recovering a little bit from that shoulder injury he incurred. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, they have some solid guys. Hawkinson is solid. So, but yeah, the Lions are a long way out of competing for anything. But I digress. Getting back to Stafford, you put him in a better situation where the organization really cares. And look what he's able to do.
Yeah, that's a huge thing when it came to this past Super Bowl. I was hoping he got a ring.
Yeah, I couldn't really root for either way or go against one way or another because it's like there's so many stories for the Rams. Stafford spending his entire career on a terrible team, finally getting his opportunity to taste some real success. For what OBJ did and didn't do for the Browns, his career was still riddled by injuries. And, at one point he was a top receiver in the league. So to see him go out and be able to get a ring was, it was a bittersweet moment, especially for a Browns fan.
Me, I didn't. It would. Yeah, but that didn't really quite much. And so it was more of looking at Stafford of he was in a crappy situation for a good chunk of his
Oh, yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you sort of felt bad for the guy and just wanted to see him to at least get one. He suffered enough.
Right. And then, there was so many, like, Havenstein, the big, like, Whitworth, too, or, like, Whitworth playing his, like, whatever amount of time he was in the league.
Mm.
And then Von Miller just being Von Miller and just going to get another ring because why not? Like celebrating, he didn't even look like he was super happy. I mean, he was happy for his teammates, yeah, but he
Mm.
is like, I've already been here, so
Yeah.
whatever. But then on the Bengals side, it's like I was also kind of rooting for the underdogs because they were a really inexperienced, super young team comparatively. We already knew the Rams were a powerhouse on defense with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. At Von Miller, it's like, who's gonna stop them? Um, but yeah, I mean, it would have been really cool to see, Jamar Chase go out year one and win a ring. Joe Burrow come right back from injury, win a ring. The underman team go out and win a ring. Eli Apple destroy narratives of him being terrible, which he still was, win a ring.
Yeah. I know Apple, he was definitely overdrafted. He hasn't lived up to the first round.
Oh, God, no. I mean, he still
Nah.
did come in really clutch against the Chiefs, that
Yeah.
one play against Tyreek Hill. But, yeah, I mean, everywhere on like NFL Twitter, Instagram, he was getting clowned and trolled.
Well,
And I mean,
even
because he
too.
talks so much though, and it's just you can't back it up most times. I mean, you gave up what 10 receptions to Cooper Cup in like the last
uh,
10 minutes of the fourth quarter. It's like,
Even you could see that with Arnett
yeah,
when he went shockingly in the first round to the Raiders. He never lived up to any of
no,
that potential.
yeah. The Raiders have a really, really unfortunate time with their draft picks. Must be a Vegas thing because it's like every one of them have some sort of legal trouble, you know.
Well, especially that one wide receiver they drafted
Yeah.
last year that they let go that killed a guy because he was intoxicated. Yeah.
And it's just like those guys, they're ruining their careers. Like Henry Ruggs, he was having a breakout season. He was gonna, because imagine Henry Ruggs on this new Raiders team. I don't think anyone's stopping that triple threat at receiver. Like there genuinely is no team. Like they would be the best receiving core in the NFL by a wide margin. I mean, no one's stopping Devontae Adams. The route running of Hunter Renfro is ridiculously good and underrated. And then to throw in a super fast down the field guy, no one's really gonna stop the Raiders except Derek Carr. But yeah, it sucks that they
Yeah.
just don't make smart choices.
Yeah. Maybe it's the whole black hole thing, how they always said with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Maybe that's sort of their motto.
Right.
It's coming back and always biting them occasionally.
Yeah. I mean,
They might want to look into changing that.
right. But I mean, really though, you'd think with that amount of fame and that amount of money, you'd have some semblance of an understanding of how the world works. Because at the end of the day, you're still a normal human. You just happen to have, your dream job, right? But, I like if I were in a situation like that, I would make sure that I would do everything kosher. Nothing would be out of the book, right? Like, because I'm getting paid like whatever $1 million to play football once a week and just go to practice. I mean, yeah, it's hard, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, doing that and then just being so stupid and especially inconsiderate for the people who put their faith in you to go out and do something that could damage your
Josh
career.
Gordon.
Oh yeah, I mean that's another thing though. The whole because he was great too, though. He was a great receiver. He was
He
like a
ruined
mini Calvin
themselves.
Johnson. I know. It's like, yeah, but you'd think you'd grow up, Because again, all that, like, I understand all that money at once is big, but you'd think you'd have someone in your corner like, look, you're making money. Just live life simply. Don't do anything that's, unintelligible. Just be a smart guy. Go about your business. If anything, get a personal driver so you don't have to worry about car accidents at least as much, just be really chill about it because at the end of the day, you're playing football and you're bringing home like 1 million or something. It's not even counting your endorsements or incentives for games. And it's like, just, be smart. And it's crazy that so many guys just aren't mature enough to be smart about what they do. And it sucks, especially for them.
Yeah. Especially with Josh Gordon with the whole thing with child support
Oh, yeah.
payments and all that. Then
Yeah.
him needing to become a car salesman.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a chance that
He
he
had
could have
so
been
many
something
chances.
big in the league.
Oh, yeah. He had so many chances.
And
Everyone gave
for
him
what?
chances.
Smoking weed is more
Yeah.
important. He could have made millions.
Oh my god. And especially like just his talent alone, whether he
Yeah.
knew it or not, which he probably did, he was like a mini Calvin Johnson. He had that build, that speed. He was everything people wanted Chase Claypool to be entering the league. But, yeah, he just squandered that opportunity for Cleveland, then for New England, and then for in Kansas he's not doing anything, right?
Well, not only did he was out in the Seahawks, right? I thought
Pro-
at some point in time.
Maybe, but that's the thing. Like he's just
I
hopping
know he got
around.
suspended so many times and went
Yeah.
through. I mean,
And you think he learned after like the third time? Like, look, we're giving you another chance. Stop messing it up. But he still messed it up.
well, the messed up thing is why does the commissioner just keep letting him get reinstated? I mean,
Right.
how many times would you go and say it's the same thing? You
Right?
go
You
and
know?
I mean, come on, you probably meet with him in New York in your office. Then B, I mean, after the third time, that's probably a
Come
little
on.
awkward.
Like, yeah, like, sorry, did it again. Like, come on, man.
Well, you walk in and yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did again. Well, we'll give you a second chance. Okay. Well, hopefully I don't see you again. Okay, and that
Yeah, fifth time, it's like, come on.
a year and a half later, oh, you're back again.
Yeah, like, right. I mean, yeah, that.
I would
that
love to
sucks.
have a camera in his office when they go and do that with
Oh,
him.
yeah.
That would have been hilarious to watch.
Yeah, like, I mean, what
If
do you
I
even
can't get the
say?
audio, if we could
Get
at
it,
least
yeah.
get the video of it, God, it had to be hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Did they actually sit down, after the third and fourth time, actually sit down and talk? Or was it just like a short, not even 5-minute thing,
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, speaking of those kind of guys, like, Antonio Brown, he's like the big one. The most erratic guy we've seen since Terrell Owens, but even on a different level. And Antonio Brown is such an interesting case for a player because he full well knew what he was doing, or at least had to, and he just couldn't see the bigger picture in my eyes. I mean, number one, he had so many chances anyways. But number two, especially on that Bucks roster, he could have gotten a ring, gotten money. Because one thing that he said was like, oh, they weren't going to pay me any money because, they had these game incentives. Oh, Tom Brady did it for Rob Gronkowski, give him that extra reception for like another 100,000, which is also crazy. But, but he was saying like, yeah, they weren't going to give me my money. And it's like, if you went to the Super Bowl and you won it, you
Still,
would
yeah,
have
yeah.
made money. But you decided to quit because you, quote unquote, weren't getting targeted despite having, I think, like 10 receptions on 13 targets against the Jets that game, and the game was not even over. And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, that entire situation was it was just weird because you didn't know who was lying or not. Because for a while, everyone was backing Antonio Brown because, you saw MRI scans. We know Bruce Arians isn't the most genuine guy as a coach.
Plus, he's from that old school.
Yeah. Tough it out.
class, yeah. Even you could see that with Tom Brady, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that was the weirdest week of football. Just,
Yeah.
And because then, like, everything else came out. Like, his teammates, like Mike Evans was like, yo, calm down. Just play the game. Like, we need you. Even Bruce Arians said, we need you. Like, what are you doing? Then, he also said, look, can you play? Is your ankle all right? Because he was going through the injury throughout the season. But, like, can you play? AB's like, yeah, I can play. And then when he does play, he gets unhappy. But it's like if you're hurt, if your ankle's hurt, the coach isn't gonna make you do like a double move on each one of the routes you run. He wants you to keep it simple and kind of be a decoy. And if that pisses you off, don't play. Your ankle's hurt. The coaches and training staff doesn't want to risk you being hurt. Tom Brady's not going to risk you going for a jump ball and really fracturing everything in your ankle. So he was different kind of guy.
It definitely wasn't any middle ground there.
Oh no, I mean, and that was another one of those talents, but even more so. I mean, as a receiver, like, yeah, his prime was nothing short of perfect. Like, he was unstoppable, just crazy good.
No.
And
yeah, he sort of self-destructed himself.
Yeah, and I don't even know how or why, the reasoning behind the stuff.
But not as stupid as Gordon, though. His stuff was stupid, but not as Josh Gordon stupid.
Yeah, because the difference there is that that Antonio Brown situation was really iffy, and it kind of all culminated with that final season with Tampa. But yeah, Josh Gordon, it's like, this is such a simple fix. Just stop.
Yeah.
Or at least stop for long enough to be in season. I mean, if you want to smoke weed, do it every day over the off season if you really need to. But once a week, just stop. It's, I don't know. Or take a smoking thing. That's not weed. I don't know. Yeah. And to get so many chances.
Wear a T-shirt or something with it if you had to fix it.
Right.
Something.
Something. Yeah.
Get a T-shirt. You could probably afford it with your contract, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of dumb players doing that. And
Except the first year he actually played fantasy football when he came out. Or no, was it the second year? When he had that 1,400 whatever receiving year in that. I had him on my fantasy league. Oh my God, he saved me twice in that league.
Yeah. Because, he was a generational talent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, with cycling through quarterbacks to put up those numbers, it's almost ungodly the way he played, but he just couldn't fix what realistically was a very simple problem to fix. It's once a week, dude. Once a week. Just play football once a week. If you're going to smoke Monday night after the game or something. And just don't, I don't know.
Well, he would have to go through the whole season because the random drug test, which God knows he was probably higher on the priority of testing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, after how many times?
Myles Garrett, his workout videos are just ridiculous. Nick Chubb can squat 625 pounds. And so Myles Garrett is a huge guy. So as far he just posted one of his normal routine workouts that he does, and the NFL gave him a random drug test the next day after he posted, which was really funny. He's like, I was just doing a workout. Why am I getting drug tested? But yeah,
you never know.
But yeah, it's always the high priority guys though.
Yeah. Plus, you never know because they probably use some random generated list.
Right. Yeah.
Compared to Josh Gordon, after a while, they just randomly said, "You know what?
Let's just check if he's doing it again." There's a good chance.
And God knows they probably did it a lot more often than any other player.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because let's face it.
Yeah.
After so many times, yeah. Actually.
How many times?
Oh yeah, of course I gotta look that up. I mean, come on, you lose track after a while.
Yeah. Is he still playing?
I doubt it.
Because I think last he was on the Chiefs. So he did play on the Chiefs
6 times.
6 times. And he re-signed.
Since 2013.
That's ridiculous. And want to know the kicker? He re-signed with the Chiefs. Wow.
Yeah, he was actually in the Seahawks too, for a short stint.
Wow.
He was eligible to play week 4. Then he was suspended like 2 weeks later for, you guess it, the common occurrence in his
Yeah.
life. So he managed to play 2 games
Right.
with the Seahawks.
And we'll see what happens, this upcoming season. He's getting paid 1.2 or 1.12 million for a 1-year contract with the Chiefs. So he's getting ample opportunity to not do what he does. But yeah, we'll give him to game 2 to see if he's
I don't think he'll make it halfway through.
no way. If he does,
I don't think
kudos.
I really don't think he can make it to week 8.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be pushing it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, 6 times. I really wonder how those conversations go down in Cradell's office.
Because they kind of shadow banned him from the league a few times too. But he just kept on getting reinstated for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah, 6 times.
6. I only thought it was 3. 6.
Yeah.
That's wow. Yeah, that's just dumb. That's simply just dumb. Another way to put it.
I would love to see if he gets suspended again, if he goes to transfer reinstatement, someone should record the video of that. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know one thing, so many people would make memes out of that.
Oh yeah. Man.
That has to be comical though. How many times does someone have to visit your office and you keep letting them back in the league over the
Yeah.
same issue?
It's not. Yeah, it's just.
I know.
Sad too. It's sad too.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. But it is what it is on that point. Poor Josh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor his children, too. Because they're
Oh, yeah.
suffering.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this was a little bit of sports talk on Lakeland Community College's own Lake Effect Radio. Until next time.